Hey there, and welcome back to Tim Talks Cooking. Today we are talking Keto Seitan ground beef. You heard me right, Keto Seitan ground beef. Yet another vegan product for you. I think this is really interesting, and you know what? I think this is a great way to eat seitan, and as I pointed out before, this is really quite a bit cheaper than buying beef. It's also just delicious. Let me show you how to do this. Let's get started. This recipe is based on one I found online by Cheryl Hurley, who has a food blog called 40aprons.com, and it's a really great recipe. I've already tested it out. I think you're really going to like this. Starts off with 1.5 cups of vital wheat gluten. That's seitan. You're also going to need 1/4 cup of chickpea flour, 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. This is fortified nutritional yeast, and that's really the kind you want. Teaspoon each of garlic powder, onion powder, and smoked paprika. A teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, as well as 4 cloves of finely minced or grated garlic, 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, or whatever oil you'd like to use in this, a teaspoon of liquid smoke, a tablespoon of soy sauce or tamari. You could leave that out if you like. I just like the flavor of it. And here we have 1.5 cups of vegetable stock. You're also going to need 4 squares of aluminum foil, and you're going to need a way to steam things with a vegetable steamer. I'll begin, as always, by mixing up the dry ingredients. There's our chickpea flour, salt and pepper, the seasonings, and our nutritional yeast. Just blend them together evenly and set that aside for a second. Here we've got our vegetable stock. I'm going to combine the liquid ingredients and the garlic. We're just going to include the garlic in that. Right on in there. Make sure we get all of it. And the liquid smoke and the olive oil. Give this a nice stir. Ooh, got a little bit on the table there. Let's get that in there. And I'll grab a spatula to stir with, and in it goes. We're going to just stir this gently at first. Remember, the vital wheat gluten, the seitan, is very powdery, and if you really go at it at first, it puffs up, it makes a big old cloud, it's kind of unpleasant. As you can see, it quickly begins to absorb the liquids. Remove those. And the smell of this is already rising up. It's very nice. Has kind of a bready smell at first, of course. And here we go, and you can see quickly that it's forming into a pretty elastic kind of thing here. You just turn it out onto the board. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to knead it for 2 or 3 minutes. If you're not familiar with kneading, there's really nothing to it. Push down with the heels of your hands, pull the dough back, continue, and then give it a 1/4 turn. Pull it back over itself and push down with the heels of your hands. You're going to continue like this here for 2 to 3 minutes. We don't want to go too far, so time yourself while you do this. Okay, and after kneading for 2 or 3 minutes, this is what we end up with. You can see it's stringy, kind of fibrous. It should be not sticky to the touch. And we're going to let that rest for 10 minutes before we do anything else to it. In the meantime, you want to get your steamer ready by putting about 1 inch of water in the bottom of a saucepan like this, putting the steamer basket on it, and heating it up to boiling. It's rested for 10 minutes now, and the next step is just simply to cut it into 4 pieces. Like this. You could use a knife. I'm just using my bench scraper here. And then I'm going to take each piece, so flatten it down, and And I'm just going to loosely wrap it. We don't want it to be tightly wrapped. We want it to be loosely wrapped. Shiny side inside. In the aluminum foil, just like this. And then we're going to place each little packet inside our steamer just like that. We're going to let that steam for 40 minutes. My timer just went off, and so now I'm just going to remove my Seitan from the steamer, and we're just going to unwrap it and let it cool down. Here's what it looks like when it's done. That touch is kind of a little bit spongy. We're just going to let that cool down to room temperature. When they're completely cooled off, as they are here, I'm going to save the foil for another use and just remove them to a cutting board. Now, we can actually just throw these in the food processor, which I have right here handy, ready to go. But I think to make it chop up much more evenly and to make it much more like ground meat, we're going to cut it up into small dice first. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the time. And actually, if you're wondering what this is like on the inside, let me just show you. There you go. It smells great. Actually, it really smells very much like nutritional yeast. I think it's delicious. Anyway, there we go. I'm going to slice it up like this. And then I'm going to cut it into about a 1-inch dice or so. And here we go. I've got my cubes of seitan in the food processor bowl. I'm going to put the lid on and get ready to give it a whoosh here. And you're going to see as I go along, it's going to chop this up. I'll show you again. Smaller and smaller. And as you can see here, look at that. It's already starting to really look like chopped meat. I think that looks a lot like sausage to me. I'm going to let it go for just a little while longer. And now here we go. And I think there we have it. And that, my friends, is some chopped seitan. Well, all right, let's give this a taste then. You know, it smells great. And mind you, even if this were just ground beef, it wouldn't be very exciting, but oh yeah. This is delicious. You know, I've got to say, I'm just amazed at how seitan really imitates the mouthfeel of meat. It's nice and chewy, but not too chewy. The way it's seasoned, really delicious, and actually I can imagine using it in lots of different dishes where I use, or used to use, ground beef. It's really delicious. I hope you'll try it. I also hope that you will like, share, comment, and especially subscribe to my channel. It helps you find my videos, and it also helps my channel grow. Thanks for joining us here today at Tim Talks Cooking. We'll catch you next time.